What if I told you that 6 months ago, 75% of what I knew about revenue share was wrong? For starters, I found out that only 11 to 12% of agents at major cloud-based brokerages participated in revenue share at all. Did you know that? Guys, I'm Dave Seibert. My team is aiming to sell 200 homes this year here in Richmond, Virginia. We joined Real Brokerage last year, and we do participate in their revenue share program. Today's video breaks down the specifics of Real's revenue share program, what makes it so much different than that of other companies, and the surprising benefits to the program that I never would have guessed. Okay, so if you're curious about Real, their program, or just revenue share in general, then this video is for you. But before we begin, and for those that don't know, what the heck is revenue share? For those that don't know, revenue share is the portion of a company's revenue that a brokerage shares with agents at the company who have helped drive that revenue by attracting other quality agents to the company. For a quick example, Real Brokerage has an 85-15 commission split until an agent caps. So if I sell a house and receive a $10,000 commission, $8,500 goes to me and $1,500 goes to Real. Real then shares a portion of that $1,500 with the guy that told me about Real and helped walk me through the process of joining. Simple, right? Guys, correct me in the comments if my history is not correct, but I believe that this concept was first rolled out by one of the GOATs, Gary Keller and Keller Williams, maybe 2 decades ago now. And then it was, for lack of a better word, put on steroids by eXp Realty almost a decade ago. Since then, most of all the fastest growing brokerages in America have included some revenue share aspect as part of their business models, with Real actually being the current fastest growing brokerage in all of America. What Gary Keller figured out was that great agents know other great agents, and great agents want to work with great agents. And when a great agent is thinking about making a brokerage move, they usually reach out to another great agent first before calling a managing broker to discuss what opportunities are available at their brokerage. Does that make sense? Let me give you guys an example. Guys, do you know who Nick Mazzella is? I bet you don't. But do you know who LeBron James is? I bet you do. When Anthony Davis was in New Orleans and he wanted to make a move to compete for a title, do you think he reached out to Nick Mazzella, the director of players and personnel for the Lakers? Or did he first text his friend from the Olympic team, LeBron James himself? Of course he texted LeBron. LeBron brokered that deal because playing with LeBron was a big part of the attraction. Gary Keller understood this, and when he set out to build the best real estate franchise possible, he knew that his franchise players, his great agents, would be a huge part of the company's appeal. So he created a format to reward those agents for helping to grow the company. So that's the what and the why of revenue share in general. What I'm excited to tell you all about is what makes Real's revenue share program so different. To get started, I want to use this illustration. Before I learned how Real's revenue share program worked, this is what I knew about revenue share from looking at another company that offers revenue share. At that company, the biggest money was down here at the bottom. At Real, the biggest money is at the top. That means every agent at the company has easy access to the top dollars in their program. If you know a great agent and sponsor them to the company, you get the max dollars right up front. End of story. In the model I had looked at previously, in order to get the biggest payout, you needed to hope that the great agent that you sponsored then sponsors another great agent who sponsors another agent, and so on and so forth, all the way down to the 7th tier or the 7th person in that chain. So the first benefit I see of Real's program is that it's much easier to gain the maximum benefit from the program for any agent at the company. The next impact of these structures I want to look at is the culture that each incentivizes. In the structure I looked at before, to get the big dollars, you don't just sponsor a great agent to the company, but you highly encourage them to then sponsor another agent who then encourages someone to sponsor another agent, and so on and so forth, just like we discussed, okay? So the culture I saw in play with that model was, in my opinion, a heavy recruiting culture. Agents cold calling other agents, recruiting conferences, and really a whole culture about the revenue share program. And different groups competed with other groups to recruit agents to the company. Now, some agents are gonna find that really appealing, and that may play to some people's strengths. But for me personally, I wanted to be at a brokerage where we were best known for real estate sales and real estate service. And I really wanted the revenue share aspect of the brokerage to be really in the background. So I was more attracted to Real's model because I think it helps keep the focus more on selling real estate. The leaders at Real have spoken a lot about this, and it's extremely important to them. So much so that the independent contractor agreement that you sign when joining Real has a ton of pretty strict rules about how you can go about recruiting or attracting people to the company. Okay, they don't even like the word recruiting. So no cold calling, no mass emailing, no paid advertising, and no creating your own unique value proposition to offer to potential agents, etc., to come over. The other thing that makes Real's program so different is that it emphasizes one of Real's core values, which is collaboration over competition. That is why Real developed the concept of co-sponsorship. At Real, a new agent can name 2 people as their sponsors to the company. Remember when I told you that 75% of what I knew about revenue share was wrong? Sponsorship is definitely one of those things. I just thought that it was a recruiting thing where people aggressively recruit you and try to make money off of you when you join. And to be fair, it can be that. But my experience so far has been that my sponsors have really made themselves available to me to learn from and checked in on me and my team and really helped us get assimilated at Real. I just hadn't thought about the beauty of it before. It's nice to have other agents in your corner that win when you win. And I've honestly felt that. I've definitely felt that. And I think that that's one of the amazing things about sponsorship in general. For an experienced agent, it may not be as beneficial, although I'm a very experienced agent and I'm finding it beneficial. But for a newer agent in particular, you really do need folks in your corner. So having the opportunity to be sponsored by someone who's doing big things nationally or, in a particular niche that you want to grow in, and then also to have the potential of having maybe a local sponsor or someone in another niche that you're interested in, it just really opens up avenues for agents to grow and be supported. That's really the energy that Real wants its participating sponsors to bring. So if you're attracted to this aspect of Real, like I am, and want to take advantage of the program, I would encourage you to just kind of search your soul for a minute and do a quick self-assessment to be sure that you're ready to spend the time and the energy to help someone on board at Real and to be a good supporter of them over the course of their career. So if you think on that and this sounds like you, do reach out to me because I would absolutely love to chat. I'm personally really excited about this program and would love to partner with other agents in helping agents to join our community and help build the community together and build the culture at Real. I thought a lot about starting my own brokerage because I love to coach and I love to help other agents be successful. But I landed at Real because at Real you can do that and you can get paid to do that without having to take on the liability and what I consider to be the boring parts of building an independent brokerage. So guys, those are the things I've learned over the last 6 months about revenue share and what makes Real's program very different from some of the other programs available in the real estate marketplace right now. For the second half of this video, I'm going to use this time to outline the specific details of the program to help you understand the dollars and cents details of how the program works. Let's break it down. The Real model is pretty straightforward. They have a 5-tier program and operate on a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 percentage system. Remember, Real has every agent on an 85-15 split, and 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 equals 15 or 15%. That's the 15% revenue that Real brings in. So in theory, this is not how it plays out, but in theory, Real could pay out 100% of the commission that an agent pays into the company through all 5 tiers of their revenue share, okay? There are 2 things that prevent that, which we'll talk about later, but that's how the system works. Now, any agent that you directly sponsor into the company is an agent that is placed in your tier 1. And an agent in your tier 1 pays out 5% of the agent's gross commission income until the agent caps. And remember, Real has a $12,000 cap for their agents, and most agents achieve that with the sale of just 6 to 10 homes. So the likelihood of an agent capping at Real is very, very high. The financial benefit for any tier 1 agent is up to $4,000 per year for a full capping agent, or $2,000 for a half capping agent. A half capping agent is an agent on a team that has just a $6,000 cap with Real instead of the normal $12,000 cap. For half capping agents, you just take the maximum benefit number and cut it in half, okay? So that's your tier 1 agents. Now, an agent that is in your tier 2 is any agent that was sponsored to the company by an agent that is in your tier 1, okay? So for tier 2 pays out 4% of the agent's gross commission income until the agent caps with Real. So the max revenue share benefit for a tier 2 agent is $3,200 per year, okay? Moving a little bit quicker now, a tier 3 agent is then any agent at the company that was sponsored by one of your tier 2 agents, and so on and so forth until you hit 5 tiers. Here is a chart that shows what each benefit looks like at each level. As you will see, and as we discussed earlier, Real put the max benefits of this program all the way at the top of the chart, not at the bottom. Now, there are a few more key details that you need to know, and for this we need to look at another chart. Now, this chart demonstrates the number of agents that an agent needs to have in their personal tier 1 to unlock the other tier levels. To unlock your tier 1, all you need to do is attract 1 agent to the company. For tier 2, the number is 5 agents. For tier 3, the number is 15 agents. Tier 4 is 20, and tier 5 is 25. What I'm referring to here again is the number of agents in your tier 1. Remember, those are the agents that you directly sponsor to the company. This is one of the ways that Real preserves their profitability. Like I said before, in theory, they could pay out 100% of their revenue through revenue share, but most agents do not have all 5 tiers unlocked, and they only pay out the various tiers of revenue share to those that have unlocked the tiers. The other thing that Real does to maintain profitability is that they only pay out up to 60% of their revenue each month via the revenue share program. So no matter what, they have 40% of their revenue to cover overhead, new initiatives, and growth. Now, for an agent to be considered a qualifying agent for your revenue share tiers, the agent needs to be an active agent in good standing with the company, and they need to have brought in at least $3,000 in total gross commission income or higher over the past 6 months. This $3,000 can come from sales, leasing, referral fees, or income that they bring in from their portion of their split with agents on their team, if they have a team. The other key financial aspect of this program that you do need to know is how the revenue share breaks out if you co-sponsor an agent. For the purposes of this example, let's say that you and I co-sponsor an agent to the company together, and this agent is a solo agent on a full $12,000 cap with Real. This person is going to count as half an agent in both of our tier 1s. Typically, the max tier 1 payout for an agent is $4,000. But in this case, that number is first split in half. So $2,000 for you, $2,000 for me. And then on top of that, Real takes a 10% service fee for managing that co-sponsorship. So $2,000 minus that 10% is $1,800. So for a co-sponsored tier 1 agent, the max payout is $1,800 a year. Does that make sense? And that same formula applies all the way up through tier 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So I must admit, this stuff can be a little confusing, so please reach out to me if you need me to clarify anything. And lastly, let's get into the fine print. Real charges a $175 rev share participation fee that comes out of your first revenue share check each year. They also charge a 1.2% processing fee on all revenue share that you receive. Now, they use this method to be fair to the agents that don't participate in revenue share. That way, the cost of the program is just borne by those of us that participate in it. The other fine print to keep in mind is that Real requires agents who participate in this program to be producing agents themselves. They want to discourage full-time recruiters because, like I said before, they believe that great agents attract great agents. And this company wants to be known by its great agents. Now, the final two things about Real revenue share that are really, really cool are, number one, they have a retirement plan. You know, if you've been a producing agent at the company for 3 full years and you are looking to retire from production altogether, you are allowed to step away at that point, to step away from sales and continue to receive up to 60% of your revenue share indefinitely. Now, if you're a producing agent at Real for 4 years prior to retirement, then that number jumps to 80%. And if you're a producing agent at Real for 5 years, then you receive 100% of your revenue share as essentially a retirement benefit. Number two, Real revenue share is also willable. And who you name as a beneficiary does not need to be a licensed agent at all. It can be a spouse, a child, or even a grandchild. And the way that that program works is pretty similar to their retirement program, okay? So if you've been a producing agent at Real for 1 year, your beneficiary can receive 20% of your revenue share. If you've been at Real for 2 years, that number's 40%. 3 years, 60%. 4 years, 80%. And 5 years, if you've been a producing agent at Real for 5 years, and heaven forbid something happens to you, 100% of your revenue share is willable to your beneficiary. Now, again, heaven forbid that you should ever need this. But to me, this really speaks volumes about the culture and the leadership here at Real and the genuine care that they have for agents and their families. Guys, I hope at this point you feel really well informed. With that being said, there is a lot of material here to digest and discuss. So either my wife, Amanda, or myself would love to extend an invite to you to further this conversation through a one-on-one call or a Zoom. We love to hear from agents and learn about their businesses and answer questions about Real. Our contact information is in the description below, and you can also find a Calendly link to our calendar that you're welcome to jump on and find a time slot that works well for you to just book a call directly. All right? We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for joining us today.